of a bitch!
I could have sworn that my inevitable Pokemon Legends ZA video was going to be about how the game was ultimately, fine but unimpressive. I mean, I said as much in my last video. Previously on my last video. Let me stop, because I'm gonna kill off all of the material that I'll definitely need to use for my eventual Legends ZA video, where I complain that the game is okay at best, and lament that this franchise never likes to innovate or improve. And here I stand, or sit, before you now, wrong. Totally wrong. I was 100% thoroughly wrong, because Pokemon Legends ZA is not fine but unimpressive, it's terrible. And unimpressive.
If it makes you feel any better, the apocalypse is coming soon.
It reminds me of a legend. Now, not really a legend, just a story, but I guess that flies these days. The meanings of words don't really matter. A legend can just be a thing that happened in the present. So once upon a time, currently, I started working in the healthcare profession, and as a part of my orientation at my new job, we had to split up into groups and take each other's blood pressure. And we took mine, and it ended up at 113/54. And if you're not familiar with systolic and diastolic values, vocabulary, that's normal and low at the same time, so the head nurse recommended I should have some salt. Well, don't you worry, sis, because I got plenty of that, and I'm about to unleash so much of it it could coat the entirety of Route 95 until fucking February. But to ensure that my big ass doesn't pop like a Drifloon in a daycare, I'll ease myself into things. So let me start with the few, and I do mean few, aspects of Pokemon Legends ZA that I actually like. First, and this isn't really a merit in the game's favor, but since there's so few positives, I decided I'd at least be a little magnanimous. Anyway, I named my soulless preteen avatar with the eyes of a cadaver and the hair of myself a few years ago, when I stopped keeping up with the dying schedule and let my roots grow in crazy style. You remember when I was blonde? Holy shit! I named this young, unfortunate child that is apparently allowed to go on forever long vacations unchaperoned, Used Napkin, which made all of the dialogue a lot more amusing. Because the amount of undue praise that gets heaped onto Pokemon protagonists by their lessers for being thoroughly unremarkable as humans is saccharine as a rule, but when they add in Used Napkin at the end of it, it feels more like an insult. Point 1 to Pokemon. In all sincerity, and actually speaking about the video game part of this video game discussion, I do like that they tried something different with their battle system. Even though the turn-based one they've been using forever was tried, true, and worked, they decided to go for something untried, unproven, and faulty. You see, this game uses an active time battle system, which may conjure up positive images of Final Fantasy VII Remake or Kingdom Hearts, and that might be good in theory, but this is like if Game Freak pilfered those design documents for those other games and sent the thumb drive they used to steal them through a Hadron Collider. Because you see, the system that Pokemon Legends ZA uses is quite clunky. The camera doesn't always cooperate with you, and the AI pathfinding of your active Pokemon is inept is, I think, the kindest word. It's bad, though. I mean, your guys will happily meander into gigantic walls of fire and show absolutely no sense of self-preservation, but you know what? At least they tried to do something. This is a factually different system from ones they've done in the past, and I guess that's something. It's unnecessary, but it's something.
We done did the good
Pokemon
that everybody like, and now we get to go home!
The developers also endeavored to make exploration a bigger part of this game. Instead of 8 small cities and Falloutian wastes in between them, this game is a zoomed-in look at one city. And one location, in theory, should mean it has a tighter design, with higher density of interesting things to find, especially given that you can end up in the underground or on the rooftops. Getting to these different areas requires using an absolute fragment of your brain power to clear off the simplest obstacles known to man, or incredibly light platforming elements that it feels unfair to critique. Questioning the quality of the platforming mechanics is like, I don't know, it's like asking Roadkill why it didn't do a better job dodging. Like, this isn't Celeste. I'm not expecting tight movement controls, but I also didn't expect a dodge roll and a phone fart double jump to be the entirety of what it takes to leap about the rooftops of Lumio City like a preteen Spider-Man after a triple dose of laudanum. What else? I like that the game forced my endgame team to be more eclectic than they normally are. I feel like a lot of Pokemon games by the end leave me with fairly similar teams, especially once the legendaries start to get involved, and I chalk that up to the early games in the series relying on pure power and statistical dominance to have success, and later entries, I guess they had a little bit of type coverage to be the main strategy, but because they were all so easy, any team of 6 you threw together could at least get you somewhere. But this game, focusing heavily on Mega Evolution, means that you have to pay at least a little bit more attention to the types that get added by your opponents and making sure that your team has smarter type coverage to combat that, along with the ability to Mega Evolve themselves. Of course, this does mean that a significant chunk of the roster is a waste of time to invest anything in because their final evolution forms don't Mega Evolve, and that may not bother some if you just want to have your favorite type, but if you want to do more than just scuff the fuzzy balls of the later game bosses, you're going to need all 6 of your guys having the ability to Mega Evolve. If your favorite Pokemon can't do that, well, you can get fucked. At least for now, because it's probably going to be paid DLC later, don't you worry. I mean, no, I never would have had an Excadrill on my final team because I think it looks like a dumbass, but it does have high attack, it can Mega Evolve, and its moveset covers a lot of different types, so welcome to the squad, you shitty little thing. I'm sorry that Excadrill has to catch strays in this video, but I don't like Excadrill. But it was on my final team. What else? There's got to be something that I liked that isn't undercut with a multitude of problems brought on by an overall lazy design. I mean, there are a lot more options to dress your avatar, at least if you want to present female. Kalos is supposed to be a region of fashion, and it still has this weird notion over a decade later that only cootie girls like fashion. And if you're presenting as a dude, you get slacks, skinny jeans, and track pants, the 3 basic food groups. If I want to dress like Vitas in the 7th Element, I should be allowed to. If I had my way, I'd be laughing up and down every street of Lumio City doing that while throwing Pokeballs at pedestrians. I also like that there are prominent characters of color that have good designs. I wish they were better characters in a better story. I wish that the world they were in meant anything. I wish that zooming in on Lumio City as a location allowed it to feel alive and not like a copy-pasted wasteland of the same streets, alleys, rooftops, and parks that all blend together into a trough of sludge that goes through you like 40 cups of cafe au lait. I wish that it took more from its French heritage and had more guillotines laying about. But most importantly, I wish any of it mattered.
Well, there it is.
You might have noticed I've been meandering around the point, so I guess I'll just make it. This game, sucks, but it sold like hotcakes, and I'm part of the problem there, because I bought it, and I bought it because I bought in. Through all of my trepidation, through all of my worry that this game would be average at best, I let a few fun Mega Evolution designs completely override all the red flags, such as the over-reliance on DLC before this shit was even released, the fact that it preys on nostalgia, like, oh, you remember Lumio City, you remember Kalos, you remember Lysander, Team Flare, Floette, Az, look at all these things that you remember the Kalos starters, we'll give you all 3 of them. What about the Kanto starters? Everybody loves the Kanto starters, and getting them for free every game, we'll do it again, pick your favorite one. Oh, shinies, everyone loves shinies, we'll give you a shiny for free, and Absol, people like Absol for whatever reason, have another Absol. Oh, remember Emma? She's here too. You remember she had an expansion suit and was like a mystery lady? Well, now she's solving mysteries. She's 21 years old and she wears that bodysuit all the time, which means those fan artists that we don't like to acknowledge all the time can now draw her with the proportions of a butternut squash with impunity, and we will say nothing about it, and you will wonder what any of it has to do with the plot of the game as a whole, and we will answer with these 2 simple words: fuck you, man. The story of this game is that your character has come to Lumio City for no reason. You get absorbed into the worst designed and managed tournament of all time, where the whole point is that you rank up from rank Z at the bottom to rank A at the top, but over half of the alphabet is skipped in story because they couldn't be fucked to have you do this whole thing, because they knew you'd get bored while doing it because they got bored while writing it. Well, isn't that a hell of a pitch to the tourism board of Lumio City? Spend all night of these day-night cycles battling against a bunch of randies with the worst teams of Pokemon ever conceived so that you can get enough points to earn an opportunity to face the person you are already slated to face. There's one person in the story who's got a missing family member and is relying on Detective Bodysuit to help find them. How does this all get resolved? It doesn't. Emma's off screen for most of the endgame, and all of that shit goes uncared about. I guess we'll figure it out later in the paid DLC. Oh boy, charging for the resolution to a plot when you've already charged $70 for no plot is completely diabolical, and I will be endlessly mad that they got away with it and that I contributed to it.
I'm giving none of this to charity!
Oh, and at the end of this tournament, spoilers by the way, but who fucking cares? There's like no plot here, who gives a shit? At the end of the tournament, you're supposed to, if you win it, you get a wish, and at the end of the game, they give you 3 choices for what that wish can be, but if you select 2 of those options, 2 out of the 3, 66% of them, the game tells you no. It tells you no. You can only pick the one state-approved way to progress this story, this lazy, shitty-ass little story. Ooh, I hated this game. Ooh, I hated it so much. At no point while I was playing it did I ever think it was going to get any better, which is astounding because it works, I suppose. I mean, the floor is intact this time, which is not something I could have said about the previous game. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if I fell through the floor because at least I'd be seeing something different instead of climbing the same ladders to get to the same block of rooftops that have the same batches of nothing to find. This game has no world building, there is no story, there's no voice acting, there is nothing that makes this game stand out amongst its peers, and it sucks even harder coming off of a game like Digimon Time Stranger. That game, it has its faults, but all of the Digimon in it have unique voice lines, they have unique winning animations, they have special attack animations, the cities and towns, plural, are full of Digimon that move around and interact. It feels, most importantly, like there is life to it. There is a plot in that game that is, I'll admit, fucking ridiculous, but it tells itself earnestly, and that's the major difference here. Pokemon Legends ZA has no heart whatsoever. It's one of the worst mainline Pokemon games that I've ever played, and whatever comes next from this franchise is going to have to be fucking incredible to garner my interest, because if this is the kind of shit that they're going to be releasing going forward, I don't want anything to do with it.
I think I made my point.
I alluded to this in my last video, but Pokemon is a series that has been stagnating, and I've seen this tidal wave coming long before the last video I did. Like, it's been coming over the horizon for years, and I've willfully ignored it to this point, over a few decent ideas and just remembrance for the child that I once was, and now I'm so mad at enshittification in other mediums and franchises, it would be hypocritical to ignore this one. Pokemon has needed a shot in the arm for a while, and this could have and should have been it. Instead, a disgusting sludge was injected into it, and the body is now rotting from the inside out. Honestly, it was more like a shart in the arm. Ending on a poop joke. I've made it as a content creator. Well, anyway, that's all I got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, good, because that was the whole point, and you can prove that you liked it by liking the video, commenting, or even subscribing. Links in the description will take you to my other work. There's quite a bit of that. One such link is my Patreon, where $2 and up patrons can get 24-hour early access to videos like this. So go check that out. Support me if you can, love me if you must, and have a great rest of your day.